Seeing even more freezing rain to the northwest, and that's where we sent Cierra Johnson. Cierra, are you seeing any ice build up there?
There is a bit of ice buildup. Just to give you a little bit of background, myself and the man behind the camera, photojournalist Bob Donnelly, have been out here for about 2 hours. I'm going to show you a picture I snapped when we first arrived. This is the courthouse. You can see it's a pretty clear photo, but there was a little bit of misting rain. That misting rain has since turned into what you see, some pretty steady falling snow. Now, I can tell you firsthand, trust me, firsthand, it is very, very slippery outside. That misting rain, of course, making a nice base layer of ice, and on top of that, that snow that is falling. We are under a level 1 alert out here in Union County, so if you have to be out, be careful if you're walking or driving. Myself and Bob Donnelly will be out here for the remainder of the evening, bringing you updates as they happen. Also, be sure to follow us on social media. We're live in Marysville. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
And of course, it's been snowing in Union County for more than an hour now.
Let's check in there. That's where we sent Cierra Johnson to show us how conditions have been changing rapidly. Right, Cierra?
Yes, they are. The wind has actually slowed down a little bit. Right before you came to me, I mean, the snow was really coming down, and I'm a little further away from the camera right now to demonstrate that you do need to keep a clear distance between you and the car in front of you. You can see these cars are coming to a stop, but they're keeping a very, very clear distance. That's because there was a slight level of ice underneath the snow that has been coming down. So these roads are very, very slick. There is a little bit of good news in all of this. Since we've been standing here, there has been no shortage of plows, both private and run by the city. We've seen them up and down the roads, making sure they can do what they can to keep these roads clear. Again, here's the wind. It's picking up, so you're going to really want to slow down if you are out. Keep that distance between you and the car in front of you. Again, me and Bob Donnelly out here all night bringing you these updates. We're live in Union County. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Cierra, thank you.
Let's get a check now of conditions as the weather makes the progression from sleet into snow. 10 TV's Megan Matthews is riding things out right now in Gehanna, where it's getting slick outside at this hour.
But right now, we begin with Cierra Johnson in Marysville, where the snow is really coming down now, right?
Yes, Jerry, this snow is really, really coming down, and it's actually picked up, and the direct correlation, the cars are really slowing down. When we were live here at 5, it was a steady stream of traffic, those individuals coming off of work for the businesses that may not have been closed. But right now, this street is pretty quiet. I'm going to give you a look at what they're driving on. If the area hasn't been plowed, it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of snow out here in Marysville. So you really, really want to be careful if you have to go outside. Another tip, you need to wear your layers. I have on 2 pairs of gloves, 1, 2, 3, 4 jackets, 2 hats, and 2 hoods. So if you are going out, you need to make sure you bundle up, because as the temperatures continue to drop, it is definitely going to get colder. We're in Marysville. I'm Cierra Johnson. Now we're going to hand it off to Megan Matthews in Gehanna.
That wind that we're talking about, that's forcing many people to stay off the roads in Union County tonight.
Yeah, that's a good idea anywhere right now. 10 TV Cierra Johnson is live in Marysville and spoke with some drivers who pulled over to stay safe. Cierra?
Yeah, Jerry and Yolanda, Ashley and Megan described the weather as nasty. I would actually classify it as just downright disrespectful. It actually hurts to talk because of the wind coming up. Photographer Bob Donnelly and I have been out here since earlier this afternoon, and we've seen this weather band come through and intensify in speed, and this weather making it difficult for folks here in Marysville, a difficult start to their holiday weekend. In Union County, it's a tale of 2 extremes. In under an hour, light misting rain in downtown Marysville took a turn for the worst as a band of winter weather whipped through this northern central Ohio region.
Well, it was 78 degrees in Florida yesterday, so then I came back to here, so it's a little bit cold.
And below freezing temperatures adding insult to injury, and the once misting rainfall coating many roads and sidewalks with a thin layer of ice, only to be topped with light yet slippery snow.
You know, it's still slick, you still slide around stuff.
Strong winds shook traffic lights and moved flags. It also reduced visibility for those few drivers left on Union County roads. We found this driver who pulled over, making a last-ditch effort to replace a busted wiper as the elements pounded his front windshield.
Frost, snow, icing up.
Just gonna take care of the family, make sure we have our stuff we need, and go from there.
Cierra Johnson reporting there. Impending winter weather has people stocking up on necessities. 10 TV's Cierra Johnson is live in the short north to show us how people are preparing down there. Cierra?
Yes, Jerry, right now it's a little eerie. It feels almost like a spring, balmy day, but don't let that weather fool you. We've seen dozens of people preparing for the weather that is up ahead. And of course, for many, that preparedness starts by heading to the grocery store. The countdown is on.
I'm hoping we're not going to get two feet, but hoping for maybe 2 or 3 inches.
And it's a mad dash for the basics.
I'm stocking up for the weekend.
As Central Ohioans prepare for a winter weather system, local grocery stores are preparing for a rush of customers.
We've prepared for the weather so that our customers know when they come into our stores they're going to get what they need, whether that be milk, bread, eggs.
Amy McCormick with Kroger says a shipment scheduled for Saturday is being delivered tonight. The chain has dispatched 60 extra trucks throughout Central Ohio to make sure stores are stocked with food, both fresh and frozen. And with forecasters expecting icy roads Friday night into Saturday morning, many in the roadside assistance business are prepping for a very busy holiday weekend.
Winch outs, battery calls, tows in general as well.
Last week, below freezing temps kept AAA workers like Kyle Bickle busy.
Here I probably sold more batteries in the past few weeks than I did the whole year working here.
During the worst weather events, reps with AAA tell us call volume often triples. And this weekend, it'll be more of the same.
Be patient with us because the calls are going to be larger than normal.
So the biggest takeaway from this information is be prepared. AAA actually recommends to have an emergency weather kit in the back of the car. They recommend having some non-perishable items in case you do get stuck, and a blanket because if your car goes off, you want to stay warm. We're live in downtown Columbus. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Brown.
New at 11, it's hard to miss all of the scaffolding and cranes across Central Ohio, but as Central Ohio continues to grow, developers are having a hard time keeping up with demand. 10 TV's Cierra Johnson explains why there aren't enough construction workers for the jobs.
Yes, Yolanda, a parent I spoke with this evening says she's not only angry, but she's extremely disappointed. That's because she and thousands others across the state are now looking for a new form of education for their student after the state's largest online education provider shuts their doors.
I feel like it sent a message to my children that the Ohio Department of Education doesn't care about them.
News of ECOT's closing hitting parents like Anna Aquino hard.
I'm just shocked. I'm raw right now.
This Canal Winchester mother has 2 children, both students in the Columbus-based electronic classroom of tomorrow.
If it really was about the kids, they could have waited till the end of the year. I'm just shocked.
Just hours ago, a Toledo-based sponsor voted to unanimously shut down the financially troubled online school. ECOT found itself in financial trouble when the legislature required eSchools to show both enrollment numbers and student participation numbers. That was in 2015. And because state funding is directly tied to student numbers, financial woes followed soon after.
My 6th grader was writing, I'm going to start crying, was writing a goodbye note and how much they have really cared.
The Aquinos are now like 12,000 other students without schooling for their children and unsure of where to turn next.
I was just texting parents as they were texting me of other parents that kids go there and very similar feelings. And if you know of any other eSchools or if you know of what are you doing? And I don't even have a real answer right now.
And the Ohio Department of Education is stressing that no student should have to drop out of school because ECOT is closing their doors. They are offering a little bit of help. They're offering a database that helps students find a school in their area. You can find a link to that database on our website, 10tv.com. Just click on the drop-down menu that says local news. We're live on the city's south side. Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News. Once used to ship anything from coal to machinery, these multicolor cargo containers are a step closer to getting a new life.
units. Then we're like, are you kidding me? Really? Is it just one, or how much room are you gonna have?
With the help of the nonprofit agency Nothing Into Something Real Estate, first-time homebuyer Sherry Sims is just months away from being the proud owner of a single-family home built from, you guessed it, shipping containers.
I feel really excited and nervous and scared at the same time.
This is something that's new and innovative and exciting, and she's taken the risk to be one of the first.
Michelle Reynolds, founder of the real estate company orchestrating this project, says this cargominium complex, featuring 25 units, is nearly 80% complete. The units on Old Leonard Road sit just blocks away from the single-family homes on Bassett Avenue, both located just east of downtown and both firsts for Central Ohio.
The overall goal with this project is affordability. The developers tell me by using these shipping containers, they cut down on the cost by as much as 30%. Those savings are then passed to the renter or the buyer.
It's crazy, like that's really like a shipping container.
We're using it as an affordable building block, and so that is an affordable housing solution that we desperately need here in Central Ohio.
They want to bring affordable housing to family housing to Columbus, and this makes sense.
In Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
I'm upset that they're closing our store.
For more than 30 years, this Kroger on Cleveland Avenue, in the heart of North Linden, is where Gloria Chandler has shopped for groceries each and every week.
Anytime you have a major store like this right here closing, okay, yes, it's going to affect the neighborhood.
Although shoppers are taking advantage of the deeply discounted prices as this store works to clear the shelves for good, researchers at The Ohio State University say they've discovered this most recent closure speaks to a larger issue. Dr. Michelle Kaiser.
There's some very distinct differences and inequalities in this city in regards to food access and food insecurity.
A study of more than 650 households revealed almost 1/3 of them were food insecure, and more than 16% had very low food security. Dr. Kaiser says this means families were skipping meals, at risk for experiencing hunger, and probably suffering health problems as a result.
When you add on to that food access challenge, you're adding on to levels of mental health like depression, anxiety.
And the researcher at Ohio State we spoke with says this community is losing a lot more than a resource for fresh fruits and vegetables. They're also losing a pharmacy, a financial institution, and a community meeting place.
You're losing an important piece of that's a fabric of a community.
And as these shoppers prepare for a vacancy in their community, Dr. Kaiser is hoping this new information on food insecurity is heard by those in a position of power.
We're really seeing people who are, working full time but are still not able to make ends meet. And I think that might be an area that policymakers could look into.
In Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.
Well, I think all my years have put me past the disgust part of it.
It's a dirty job, but one Stephen Smith does with pride.
Obviously, it's something that has to be dealt with. There is a yuck factor for the general public.
For years, Smith has served as the water reclamation supervisor for the city of Canal Winchester. And with each year, a problem within the sewers continues to grow, literally.
We're not certain that people realize exactly the damage they might do.
Several items like baby diapers, feminine products, and an increasing number of those flushable wipes are making their way from homes into city pumps. These pumps are designed to filter some objects, but not the amount of non-biodegradable items Smith and his team are finding.
Well, we spend 1/2 day every week checking every pump station and every control station.
And at any given time, clogs like this one found just last week can be seen wreaking havoc on an already strained system. Sewer employees I spoke with say they don't believe any of this mess was put here with any ill intent. Their goal now is to spread the message that if this continues, it's only going to cost taxpayers more money.
I would say there's a large amount of time spent and resources spent here.
Smith says he's already had to ask City Council for more taxpayer dollars to fix the damage.
Approximately $10,000 to $15,000 a year vacuuming the debris like you might see back there out of the system.
That in addition to $20,000 for a new pump and $7,500 for a new pump control system. So the message from this superintendent is simple. Think before you flush. In Canal Winchester, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News. It's a balmy 35 degrees at the Anderson Concrete Quarry off of Hall Road.
We're involving engines, ladders, heavy rescues, and our medics and our command staff.
The Columbus Fire Department taking advantage of the rising mercury to train first responders.
We tend to get busiest when the ice is very fresh. It's a novelty to a lot of people. They venture out on the ice before it's too thick. And we get a lot when the ice starts disappearing when it warms up.
Lieutenant Steve Trenish says throughout the year, local agencies respond to dozens of rescues, both people and pets trapped in thin, melting, or broken ice.
A lot of people incorrectly assume that the ice is going to be thick enough to hold them.
These first responders say it only takes a matter of minutes inside of this freezing water to experience hypothermia. So to protect themselves so they're able to protect you, they wear these plastic suits. So these heavy response companies are running drills to prepare for the unexpected, from above using a ladder and life preserver, and below the icy surface with the dive team.
It boils down to nothing more than good practice. We need the conditions and the realism for the companies to be effective when they have to do this in real life.
In Columbus, Cierra Johnson, 10 TV News.